BlackRock just moved trillions of dollars, and almost nobody is talking about this. Not opinions, not headlines. We talking about trillions of real dollars being moved. And in this video, I'm gonna show you where that money is going, why it's happening right now, and how regular investors like you and me can position ourselves before it becomes obvious for everybody. There's 3 shifts. And so also I'm gonna give you 3 ETFs and 1 global rotation that most people won't notice until it's already over. Now, it's your boy, the Wall Street Chapman, man. Make sure you like and subscribe to this video. It truly helps the channel out. And if you would, I would appreciate it if you can let us get 2,000 likes on this video. It helps us get moved around in the algorithm. It helps us get noticed. And then we'll keep giving y'all information, y'all. And also, you can go check out some of our last videos. But other than that, let's get to it. We talking about $14 trillion in asset managers, right? This is not just a hedge fund. It's not a YouTuber. This is the largest asset manager on earth. So when BlackRock relocates capital, it's not guessing. I can promise you Larry Fink knows a whole lot more than us. It's not emotion. It's math, it's policy, and it's probability. You got to think BlackRock is in everybody's 401k, and they own almost everything. And recently, they shifted $2 trillion of exposure out of the U.S. toward emerging non-U.S. markets. That's right. They took $2 trillion out of the U.S. Now, that doesn't mean America is collapsing, but it means that returns are rotating. And when return starts to rotate, money flows. Retail investors, well, we react to headlines, right? That's what happens. But institutions, well, they move before the headlines exist. And the reason why they can move before the headlines exist is because they have analysts, they have people doing deep research. They have so many assets available to them that we don't have access to, but we have to do is pay attention to what they're doing and where they're going. And when we do that and we understand that, then we can say, I see it, because it's not hard to move $2 trillion, but if you don't know that the $2 trillion is being moved, you have no idea what's going on. And that's why this video is going to be so important, because by the time CNBC explains the trend is already crowded. So the question isn't, is the U.S. bad? The real question is, where is incremental growth coming from next? And I truly want us to see that, right? Because markets don't reward loyalty. They reward positioning. And that's why these 3 ETFs are going to be powerful. But before we get into the 3 ETFs, I want you to hear this from me, and I want you to hear it closely, right? Let's talk about the numbers just for a second. Just for a second, let's just talk about the numbers. So last year, the US dollar lost 10% of its value. Okay. Well, let's think about that for a second. That means, well, we don't have as much purchasing power, and that really matters to us. And so assets become the safest way for us to invest, because returns are not just about stocks, it's mostly about currency. And that's what investors want to do. They want to see where they can get the best return for their dollar. Now let's look at performance for a second before we get into that. Germany's DAX, right? It returned about 22% last year. Now, Japan's markets returned about 26% last year. And MSCI, which is the international markets, you could look at that on our stock market, on Robinhood, or any exchange that you have, they returned nearly 30% last year. And the S&P, well, it did 16%, and that's not bad. It's positive, not dominant like the 20-something% the year before or the 30-something% before, but we like positive returns. But when you look outside America, you're like, wait, what's happening here? And when the dollar weakens, foreign assets gain an extra tailwind. Now, we had a video where we talk about what a tailwind is. Now, you don't just earn equity through growth. You earn it when currencies appreciate as well. So that's a double return. This is not just about abandoning American stocks, y'all. That is clearly not what I'm saying. This is about diversification when leadership is changing. And that's all I want us to see. That's all I want us to pay attention to. I'm not saying go stuff all your money in this. This is not financial advice like that. We just paying attention to what's going on. America will still innovate 100%. America will still dominate sectors like tech, defense, and AI 100%. But there will be other places that move. There will be other places that, are safer pockets to be in. And with Donald Trump being a wild card, being a joker, I'm just saying that he has people a little fearful. And so that's why money is leaving. The money going to go where the growth is accelerating, not where it already happened. And right now, uncertainty plus policy risk currency pressure, and pressuring money outward, it's kind of practical. Not to mention the fact that $48 billion of foreign dollars left the US last year. Let's just think about that. So the number one ETF we're going to talk about right now is VWO, the Emerging Markets ETF. This gives you exposure to countries like China, India, Brazil, Taiwan, South America. These economies have younger populations, faster growing GDP and growth, and manufacturing exposure. Last year, VWO returned about 25%. This year, it's a lot calmer, and that's actually a feature, not a flaw. Institutions don't just chase vertical moves. No, they don't, right? They accumulate during quiet periods. Now, here's what we can say about this play. It is up about 1.25% year to date. Not bad. Think of this as buying where the US was 20 years ago. It's not a trade, it's just long-term exposure. Now, again, America has outperformed for the longest time. So I'm not saying be there forever, but I'm saying this may be a good place to be at going into this year. The second ETF we're going to talk about is EWJ. Now, this one is up about 2.71% year to date. And last year, it returned 24%. Now, most people still think that Japan is stagnant because this is the Japan ETF. They think that it's outdated. And I'll be right, you are furthest from the truth. Japan has been restructuring corporate governance and reforms, right? Shareholder returns, efficiency focus, and they're actually getting better. And they kind of telling us right now, yo, no more cheap money for nobody. And that's really hitting the system. And here's the key. The yen, it's definitely being enforced right now. That makes Japan exports really kind of competitive right now. Institutions like this combination, stable governments, global brands, and there's a currency tailwind. This isn't really a comeback story. This is actually a structural reset. And so I want us to look at those two and say, this is interesting. I want you to just go do the homework for yourself. Check me, fact check me. Now, third on the list is EEM. Now, this one is up 2.22% this year, and it returned 34% last year. Now, this is a broader emerging markets exposure, right? That's what this is. It's often used by institutions when they want to get a macro bet, not just a country bet. So when they want to invest macro from a lot of stuff that's going on, it has a different weighting than the VWO. It's more diversified. And now you're getting access to all types of countries, right? This is what you buy when you believe the world is growing faster than the US. Now, I'm not saying that the US is not growing, but there's some other places that are growing really, really fast. India, Singapore. And that's exactly the environment we're in right now. I just want us to understand that. Yes, we love America. Yes, we're going to get our returns. Yes, we can make our money for us. We can make our money work. And that's why we use these countries to put our money in through these ETFs. Today, the S&P is down altogether about 1% year to date, 1.3% with today's sell-off, with Trump trying to take over Greenland and all of this pressure. They're going to be talking in Davos this week. It's a lot going on. It'll probably be like that for the next couple of weeks. Don't start pressing buttons, just selling stuff. People panic over stuff like that. Institutions, well, they don't really panic. Because pullbacks are how equity just repositions. They take their money from this, they put some money right here, they keep it in the markets, they just move it in different vehicles. Money doesn't leave markets. It just moves in between them. And every global rotation feels uncomfortable before it feels obvious. Let me just say that line again. Every global rotation feels uncomfortable before it feels obvious. Now, here's the big picture that I want you to really pay attention to right now. Here's a mistake that most investors will make without a shadow of a doubt. They're going to wait for certainty. They're going to wait till the waters are clear. And certainty only appears when the returns are gone. BlackRock isn't predicting the future. Not at all. They're responding to the probabilities. And that's the one thing that's going to hurt most investors. Because they're waiting for certainty. They're waiting for things to calm down. Currency, growth, policy. Those are the probabilities that are shifting globally. And as an investor, you can't just focus on the US. While we know that this is where it's at. This is, the big dog. We have to be willing to put our money in other places. And that's what I love about the market. This isn't about fear. Not at all. I would never do that. I don't have to use fear tactics. This is about us being aware. And you don't need to abandon U.S. stocks. You just got to find the pockets. I talked to y'all about defense. Defense is doing pretty good. I talked to y'all about Rare earth minerals, they are doing good. Industrials, they are doing good. But ignoring global rotation when the largest asset manager on earth is moving, that's the real risk. You don't need to predict the future. You just need to follow where the capital is already going. Position early, stay patient, and let the system work. This is truly how you build wealth in this game. And then when you see things like gold, things like silver, when you see these things being repositioned and you see these things being reclassified, that's right, they're being reclassified. They're now classifying gold and silver as a tier 1 liquid asset, meaning this is high liquid. And banks are now like JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, they get to use gold for 100% of its value. What? Before they couldn't do that. Before it was looked at as just this metal that was just sitting on the side, and it twinkled and it went there for safety. But now they're using it for reserves to get loans and leverage on even more. Why? Well, gold is at all-time high. Silver is at all-time high. These are the moves that Americans make. Let me rephrase that. These are the moves that American institutions make, and they do it without you even noticing. And these are the moves that impact your 401k. Why? Because BlackRock is in every one of your 401ks. Why? Because gold and silver is the thing that moves all your 401ks. Now, do they get you exposed to it? I don't know. But are they having exposure to it? Are they lending from it? Yes, they are. And so that's what I want you to do. I want you to be able to move like they move, see how they see, so that you can turn your last name to an asset, so that you can build wealth one share at a time. Man, I hope this video was a banger for you, man. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trapper, man. Stay focused. Don't panic in times like this. Turn your last name to an asset. Don't just start pressing buttons. Stay calm. There's a plethora of opportunities out there for us. But we can't see them when we're fearful. We can't see them when we're panicking. We can only see them when we take a step back. We've been through this before. We've seen Trump go through this before. We actually know how this is about to turn out. Here's what's going to happen. They did it on the weekend. Why they did it on the weekend? So it can shake the markets and everybody going to be panicking. Then it was a 3-day weekend. And then the EU will strike back. And they'll say, yo, we going to double down. We going to do this. We going to do that. And then Trump going to double down and say, yep, you do that. I'm going to do this. You definitely want to do that. And then somewhere along the line, we're going to say, hey, we had negotiations. We got a phone call happening, yada, yada, yada. And then you'll see markets kind of like come off the gas a little bit. And then you'll hear him say, we in talks again. And then the market will probably rally. And then it'll sell off a little bit. And then the market will rally again. And then it'll go on like it's been going on. Notice today, this is the 3rd time in a row that we did not get a word on the legalities of the Trump tariffs. You know why? Because they're going to wait till this is over. This is a game to play on your emotions. And what we don't want you and I to be is emotionally overstimulated behind the markets. I don't want you to have traumatic experiences with the market. I don't want you to take days like this and look at your account as being red and you can't make moves and now you want to sell everything. No. Settle down. Close the goddamn app. Do some homework. Do some research. And come back focused. It's your boy, the Wall Street Trap, man. If this video helped you, if this video gave you any type of game, encouragement, or inspiration, man, share this out with somebody. Comment in the chat below. Salute.